Aloha.
Aloha.
And welcome to Wisdom Dialogues with Hope Johnson. Coming to you from Upper Kapoho on the beautiful big island of Hawaii. Hooray!
Hey.
Yay! Thank you so much for joining. Yeah. If it's your goal to see through this illusion to the truth, and I know that it is, even if you don't know that's your goal. I'm sure that it is. Everyone wants eternal life. They don't want to have the perception of a dying world with dying bodies on it. If that's your goal, all you got to do, and it's going to make you really happy. It's going to make you really happy all along the way, is be willing to give up the meaning you made of the world and accept the Creator's vision. You know, the Creator is love. Let's say the Creator is love. Okay? There's nothing that opposes love in the Creator's realm, the created. There's nothing that opposes love there. So when you get a perception of the world, it's not even anything that you can understand. You're trying to understand it. You're trying to understand it, but it's an interpretation made from a brain that's a projection of a guilty self-belief. So everything that you have a perception of comes colored like that. So you get this idea that there's a pandemic in the world right now. There's not. There's not even a world. That is made up and projected outward. Each one of us who gets a perception of that, myself included, each one of us who gets a perception of that is being given an opportunity right now. It doesn't mean, oh, you've been bad. You wanted this. Look what you did. Got it. Now you got a pandemic. It's like, I chose this for my healing. Hooray! Oh, pandemic? Hooray! Thank you. Thank you. Nothing's happening. No one's dying. No one's getting sick. Nothing's happening. You know, the ego might get up like all up in arms about that. Like, oh, well, if no one's dying and no one's sick, then where's the comfort? Where's the compassion for the sick and dying? If someone arises in your perception that appears to be sick or dying, you take care of that. That's where the compassion comes in. You take care of that within your own energy field. You made them up. You made them like that. So when you take 100% responsibility for that, you're allowing a healing to take place. You take full responsibility for what's arising in your perception. There's a sick person arising in your perception. It's like, oh man, thank you for showing up like that. You're not necessarily going to express it to them in that way. But, you'll be moved. The Spirit will move you to actually extend that compassion. If you're allowing compassion for yourself, it gets extended. What a lot of people mistake, they call it compassion, but really it's an attack. when you look at someone as if they're a victim, when you look at someone as if they're a victim, even if you're being nice, even if you're doing what society thinks you should be doing as far as being compassionate with them, it's an attack on the mind. And that makes more manifestations of illnesses. It demonstrates to them that, yes, I agree with you, you are a victim. Too bad. Gosh, that virus really got you, didn't it? And there's where's the opportunity for a miracle in that? Where's where are you allowing any space for a miracle? If there's agreeing that, oh yeah, you caught that. There's nothing like that. There's nothing outside of yourself. There's nothing outside of yourself. So there's no virus that can get you, obviously. I think a lot of people here are aware of that. It cannot invade your body and get you. That's not how that works. And the other one is, there's no people outside of you. All the people that appear to you, people that seem like they're fearful, people might seem like they're judgmental of you. It's all you. Isn't that fun? Then you get to play with it. And it's in everything, there comes to be a sense of gratitude. Oh, thank you. You're the worst person ever. How can you be so whatever the word is? Oh, thank you. See? That show of gratitude teaches your consciousness that those things that you're interpreting in the world don't mean anything. So your consciousness does not have to make more manifestations. What we've done is already set out this timeline. Actually, a lot of timelines. All arising, all going simultaneously. Just spinning timelines. So we see these manifestations arise and use it to either make more timelines, make it keep on going on, or to undo the cause of this world. And what underlies the world is just a guilty feeling. That guilty feeling keeps you from looking. Keeps you from looking past your brain's interpretation of the situation. That's what keeps this whole thing looking solid. That's what gives you a sense of like something to hold on to. There's nothing here though. And what we perceive as being here has no meaning. It's like a prop. It's really like a screen. And there's all these props in the screen. There's storylines and props. People are like props. But we don't see them clearly. We don't see people clearly. We don't see anything clearly. So everything that we're coming into a relationship with, everything and everyone that we're coming into relationship with, we're teaching something to the consciousness. That's even if it arises in a thought, even if it's just a rock. Even if it just arises in a thought. Consciousness is learning constantly about who we are and making manifestations based on that. That's why it's funny to me to try to manifest anything specific using some spiritual tools. Because the only choice you have is the decision you can make between the truth and what your brain is interpreting as true. What your brain is interpreting about the world is so chaotic, there's no way you can understand it. You're just like trying to understand it all the time. And then making ideas that you do understand. Oh, I know what's going on here. No, we don't know. because it's not anything that can be known. It's so chaotic. It's always changing. You know, the whole world is in lockdown right now because there's belief in this germ theory of disease. That can change. That can totally change. It's like whatever we say, that's what we're going to see manifestations of. They go, okay, you know what? Let's just promote this germ theory of disease. We'll build the whole medical system on it, and we'll train everyone to believe in the germ theory of disease because that's what we think it is. Who knows what the reason behind it is? That's what we think it is, let's say.
There's money to be made.
There's money to be made, I'm sure. And then what do you see? Manifestations of it. Everyone says, oh yeah, there's evidence. There's evidence of it. One person got at the school and then it went around the school and attacked everyone else in the school. Got in their bodies too. We can change our mind about what we're taking is true. There's no way it's getting out of a person's body and traveling around to other people's bodies and invading bodies like that. For one, there's nothing outside of yourself. For two, it doesn't even make scientific sense as far as I can tell. I'm not a scientist. But, you know, if you can go, this germ theory of disease is the right thing. That means people can get attacked by viruses. You can also have something completely different as the belief and have it manifesting like that. You can also just change your mind about that. I've seen it in a lot of different ways. It used to be when I was younger, the way to have a slim, healthy body was to eat no fat. And then I said to myself, hey, this kind of sucks. What if the way to a slim, healthy body was to eat whatever you wanted? And just in allowing that became the reality. That became the perceived reality. It's like people feel so guilty they won't allow a different belief. Won't allow a belief that serves. You know, and it's like even in a manifest world, that's not real, you know, you deserve way more. You deserve way better. You deserve way better than that. See, there's coming to these conclusions about how things are. There's automatically coming to these conclusions about, oh, that's the way that is. And that's what feeds that thing over and over and over again. Even that's the way that person is. That'll just keep them like that. Why? Why can't everybody just be new in each moment? You know, ask yourself, why am I holding this about this person? Sexual predator came up to me today. That was pretty fun. Yeah, welcome. Apparently there's someone who is a sexual predator and he's not allowed to come to Wisdom Dialogues. Found that out today.
Well, he can come, but the lady that thought he was the predator didn't.
There's a rule. Let's just say there's a rule. Say there's a rule that there's no sexual predators on this land. Which is awesome. There's not a problem with that. And then at the same time, if you have the perception of someone as a sexual predator, hooray! It's all it's saying is your mind needs healing and here's an opportunity. Your mind needs healing and here's an opportunity. Here's someone who looks like a sexual predator. What are you going to do with him?
Male or female?
Male.
Oh.
Usually they're male, aren't they? I don't know. That's just the teenagers that are getting hit up by the females, I think.
But well, that would be determining what I would do with them.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I'm just very, I mean, kidding.
So, if they are you, what would you offer yourself? See? Consider yourself in that same position where someone thinks that you're a sexual predator. Consider yourself having a memory of having sexually predatored someone. What would you be deserving of? What would you need? It's not anything about doing. There could still be a rule that he doesn't come over. It's all good. But it's the idea and the sense that that person is outside of you and not really offering you a gift. When you can use everything like that, using everything as a gift, you'll see that you get happier and happier. You can't help it. Because every attack is an attack on yourself. It's an attack on your own mind. And when you make someone out to be guilty, even if they seem to be a sexual predator, whenever you make someone out to be guilty, it immediately puts you in fear of punishment, in fear of being found guilty and punished, and it's guaranteed to manifest for you because you're holding it. That's the way it goes. It's guaranteed that you're going to get a sense that you're guilty, and that's the punishment. You're going to get the sense that I should have done that better. I should not be doing so much, I don't know, binge watching Netflix or something. It's just then you start to get ideas about yourself being guilty. And that's the reason why. And the beautiful thing is, you don't have to wait for the next opportunity for someone to show up as a sexual predator, let's say. When you get those projections of yourself doing it wrong, of yourself not being good enough, you have an opportunity again, just like it's all the same. You have an opportunity again. You're given an opportunity again. Are you going to lean to your own brain's interpretation of who you are? Or are you going to ask to be aligned with the vision that the Creator has of you? Because the Creator does not see you like you see yourself. And you can't fix your perception either. You can't go, oh, I think this about myself. I'm thinking this about myself. No, I'm really this. I'm really great. I'm really divine. I'm really blah, 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 like that. Nope, that's not going to do it. From that place where you're having a thought about I'm not good enough, I'm unworthy, in whatever way that manifests, that's where you can ask for another interpretation. And here's how you know. Because sometimes they just float by and people don't even know. They're just automatically believing it. They don't even remember. It's just like, boom, the thought occurs, believe it. Oh, that sucks. It hurts. And then just go on. But there's not even the consciousness of, oh, that sucks. It hurts. It's just kind of like accepting that that's normal. To kind of just feel shitty about myself. That's just normal. No. When you have any kind of upset feeling, you are believing a guilty thought about yourself. Any kind of discomfort, any kind of anger. Anger, it seems to be for another person. All those little things are all the same. Make them all the same. Generalize them. They don't have to each be individually named. You're given this contrast. You have like the center line, and then you have all the thoughts that resonate with God, love, source. And then on this side, could be either side, doesn't matter. Fear, all of the manifestation of fear. Guilt, shame, anger, sadness, grief, any of those. You know the difference between whether you're in love and in fear. There's a definite contrast there. Whenever you're in the fear, whenever you're on the fear side, if you will admit, I don't know what's going on, but I'm making something up. that's harming me right now. That's what it's doing to you. The way you feel, that's what the thought's doing. It's showing you, this is what you're doing to yourself. Not really. Still just a game. Even energy is a perception. Not really. But, if you don't notice that you're doing something harmful to yourself when you're in fear, you're just making more of these patterns come about.
You talked about the woman that was afraid of her daughter getting some kind of molestation or whatever, and then she remarried, and the man she married, the stepfather, sexually violated the girl. So she was obsessed with this fear of her daughter getting sexually molested, and then she ends up marrying the guy that molests the daughter.
Yes.
So
fear works like that.
The more you fear, the more you're attracted. It's kind of like people now are wanting to have a healthy immune system.
Mm-hmm.
So they're afraid of the disease. Well, what is going to boost your immune system? Is it going to be love and peace, or is it going to be fear and anxiety and worry? Which is going to be more conducive to your health? Obviously, we know it's love and peace and joy. That the fear actually is making you more susceptible, reducing your immune system to make you more susceptible to something that you fear. And like go out in nature and you run into a mountain lion. What's going to create your encounter with the mountain lion? If you see a mountain lion and you send it love, you're at peace, it's a beautiful mountain lion. Or if you're afraid of the mountain lion, you're tense, you're anxious, and the mountain lion senses your fear, which of those people are more apt to get attacked by the mountain lion? Obviously, the person that fears the mountain lion, because the mountain lion knows that person feels danger, that mountain lion can hurt them. And so then the mountain lion knows that person is vulnerable to injury and will attack that person. So that's just it. You have all the fear of the disease, but that's the very thing that brings on the whole idea and symptom of a disease, is to give it power, and that you're a victim of it.
Yeah, it apparently lowers your immune system when you're in fear. And one manifestation of fear, too, is concern. If you're even concerned about people who are gathering, you're lowering your immune system. That's just how it goes. I mean, it's one thing if you go, okay, I feel like quarantining, this is what's going on. You don't even have a choice in that. But you have a choice in whether or not you're going to justify your concerns. Are your concerns justified, or are you willing to have peace instead of concern? That's the question. And the same thing, those of us who don't do the quarantine thing because it seems kind of lame. When people are quarantining and, the majority of the world seems to be abiding by the government's directive.
We don't really know that.
Well, it seems to be, that's why. Yeah, that's why it seems to be. Exactly. So it's like, that's also arising in your perception. So it's like whatever anyone else is doing, if it happens to be people who are quarantining and seem to be like, wow, all these sheeple buying in and quarantining and giving all the government and all the power, right? Also in your perception. And because of that, you can have peace instead of any concern about it. No concern is valid. There's no cause for it. No one can do anything to you. No one can create within your perception. And what's awesome about it is if there is any kind of judgment about it or any kind of concern, what's awesome about concern is that it's there for the healing. It's there for healing and not for justifying it. Well, to the ego, it's there for justifying it and keep on making concern valid and do it again and again and again. But to your spirit, to your happy, joyful, playful spirit, that concern that you feel is a huge opportunity to have peace. It's like, oh, thank goodness I just made that up. I don't have any need for concern. There's no justification for it. You could just be completely careless again. Concern is kind of the opposite of careless. One of the opposites. Well, there's no cause for concern. Just watch this when you get concerned about something, because it goes on all day long. It occurs to both of us, all of us. It'll come up, something will come up, and your face will actually change. Like, I could sense that my face changed. You guys probably can too. Like, if you're paying attention to your face will actually change into a concerned face. And it's like, and it's like, just in noticing that, you can laugh. It's like, oh, and I've seen other people too, come up to me with some concern. It's like, oh my God, Hope, this, and this, and this, and I'll be like, okay, fun, and they'll be like, oh, it's like that, and they'll just change. It's like, woohoo! Holy shit, we're almost out of this. Oh, yay! It's all the same. When it's all general, it's all one thing. It does not matter what's arising in the world. You're the same. You're freaking happy. You don't have any bad days. I was telling my friend on the way here, there's no days. So the decision to have a bad day is a decision that you're making over and over and over and over again, all day long. I woke up and I decided I was having a bad day. And then I kept on deciding I was having a bad day over and over again all day long until the day was done. And then I thought I'd maybe start over again the next day. See how I wake up. That doesn't mean that, sometimes I get people going, but the feelings are so beautiful. All the feelings, I want to keep all the feelings. I want to keep all these feelings all the time. And it's like, what gives the feelings their beauty is what you can use them for. Because once you see beyond the feelings, you're not going to miss them. You're not even going to miss them, not even the good ones. You're not even going to miss the feelings. Those are just feelings that you made up. They're just feelings that you made up so that you can have this kind of competition with God. You're not the creator, I am. Look what I made. Look at my beautiful kingdom where people have a pandemic. Whoops. Little miscreation there. We'll make it better. We'll vaccinate the fuck out of everything and it'll all be fine. Let's try that and see how it goes. It's funny just to watch how, we as humanity keep on going, oh, we want this utopian thing, where everyone's taken care of and everything like that. But doing it in a way from our separate mind, like, oh, we'll just kill everything. And we'll only keep the things alive that we want to keep alive. The people. We'll kill all the weeds. We'll kill all the vermin. We'll kill all the germs.
Yeah, save the planet. Kill yourself.
We'll be super clean. Everyone will wear shoes. It's never the thing I'm saying is it's never going to work. It's never going to get you there. It's like you can only, even the most amazing invention in the world is only leading to death. It only goes to death. Everything that you seem to create here, and I hear that a lot. People think they're creating here. It's like really common to think that you're creating here. Look what I created. You know, that thing perishes though. That's why it's not created. That thing, beautiful as it may be, functional as it may be, that thing passes away. So it's not created, it's made up. There's a big difference between that. See, if you think that this is your creation, you believe that the things that you create in this world are your creation, then you're not even thinking about moving beyond it. You're not even thinking about seeing through it. Instead, you want to make it a different illusion from the one you see. Yeah. That's the ego's game. You always want it to be a different illusion to the one you see. So it's like trade this illusion for yet another illusion so that you don't see through it. And it's funny when you consider like how much this has been played out. How much is it? It looks like millions upon millions of years. It was like playing out. And you know what? It goes on in a loop forever and ever until there's willingness to see through it. It's just a bunch of meaningless ass stories. You just find yourself in a timeline. You just find yourself in a timeline and it's like going. It's already got its storyline. And it's like going and playing. And then you identify with the one that's in the meat suit that seems to be in that timeline. And you're constantly trying to make your whole story better. That's the whole thing every single lifetime. It's not doing anything. It's not getting anyone anywhere. It's just the same thing over and over again. So it's like this willingness to give up the story in the moment. That's where you're going to allow the peace for yourself. It's very scary to the ego. I know that. It's very scary for the ego because what's going to happen, the trajectory that you're on with that, what's going to happen is you're going to know very clearly that this is 100% meaningless and you don't want it at all. And when you don't want it at all, I don't mean despise it. That's not what I mean. When you don't want it at all, that's when you will not see it. And while you still see it, admit, I made this up. And I made it up because I want it. I don't want to lose. There's a fear. Don't want to lose this ground. Because it seems like if I lose this ground, I'm going to be annihilated. And it's true. That's annihilation for the ego. There's no ego beyond this. So that's where the fear is coming from. That's where the resistance is coming from. That's where the resistance to accepting peace right now. That's all it is. The ego does not want you to find out that this is completely meaningless, and the ego has no job. You've built yourself up with the ego. We've all built ourselves up with the ego, taking positions on things. You know, wanting to be right about things. Thinking we know how people are. Thinking we know what to expect. We built this self up. Thinking we know how to protect ourselves, how to take care of our bodies, for instance. How ridiculous is that? There isn't even a body to take care of. It's just all this activity pushing out more and more timelines. When you're willing to see that there isn't anything, more and more you'll find peace within your perceptions. They all become the same thing. Comet is coming. Whatever. It's gonna blow it up. It's gonna come right here and you're the same. You're the same. Nothing changes.
this all this defense we have against death, this like war on death,
Yeah.
is keeping us exhausted. Basically, we're just keep trying.
Yeah.
So I'm hearing just allow the death and just like surrender to it, or go with the death
Yeah.
in a constant daily way.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the bodies, basically, bodies are born to die. That's what they do, like all day long. That's what's going on. There's bodies dying. So then, if you want to make it about something, just put your focus on the bodies that are dying, and then make it about something. It's not really relevant. You can't stop a body from dying. It's not easy for a body to die. It's not easy for it to die. It's not easy at all. It cannot happen. It's totally impossible until there's a choice from the higher consciousness to allow that.
So what we can do is slow down the process, which is more agony. Like it's more crazy making. To try to slow it all down.
Try to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not gonna slow down. It's gonna slow down the process of awakening. But it's just in believing in it,
Yeah, it's futile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Taking it on like that, justifying it, that will slow down the process of awakening. It's not going to slow down death or anything like that. If death needs to come, it's going to come. You can't do anything about it. If sickness is going to come, it's going to come. Yay.
But it comes from you.
Yes. That's right. Everything that occurs in your mind. That includes if it seems to occur to your body. It can only come from you. And here's a great practice if you seem to be sick. Anyone listening that seems to be sick or knows someone that seems to be sick. If you seem to be sick, just be willing to admit that you made that up. You made that up. That's not a guilty thing. Oh, I must have done this to myself because I'm so like da da la la la. No, I made this up because I can use it. It's showing me where I can allow some compassion right now. So it's like, yay, it's gratitude for the sickness. It's gratitude for the death. Oh, thank you for dying. No one's really dying, but thank you for pretending like you died.
Well, that's why we can be so thankful for this pandemic, because this whole idea of sickness and death is just so out in the open. It's just so blatant everywhere. The gift is that we can end sickness and death once and for all. It's so loud and blaring that you see that it's just an illusion, that there's no foundation, there's no substance to it. It's just a bunch of, like you say, made up, make-believe fantasy that is trying to incite fear. And so it's the fear that generates it. The pandemic is a fear pandemic that creates separation and destruction. So that's what we're seeing. Everyone's 6 feet apart, afraid of each other, and then people are sick and dying. Separation and destruction from the fear. And then there's love, which is union and creation. So there you have everyone coming together, sharing, cooperating, giving, and creating from the source of existence, which is love. We're loving each other from the source of love, and then that negates all the fear and like you say, the concern. We can be careless, carefree, instead of concerned and worried about some threat.
That's for sure. That's for sure, Bob. And the thing is, there's no one else to even convince. Really? It's just all in it's all in your own perception. So even if you see, you say we can do this, and I say that too, we can do this. I just want to clarify that you don't need anyone else on board with you. You don't need anyone else on board. So that's really huge, because then you don't have to try to convince people against their will. You don't have to have any arguments about it. Everyone in your perception, since they're all you, are doing it exactly the way you want them to. Oh, this is perfect.
That's the best news yet.
Yeah. Thank you. You know, if you feel like you're afraid of people not quarantining, thank you to the people who are not quarantining for bringing up this fear in me. If you feel like you're afraid of that the world's gone crazy, thank you, people that show me that the world's gone crazy. This is perfect for me.
So yeah, it's always you. There is no other. So I had this major revelation. I was listening to this Alan Watts talk, how to attract your soulmate, it's called. And so then the realization that you cannot see your head. It's like you can't see, there's no way your eyes can see your head. You only can see your head in a mirror. You can't you can directly see everything else, but not your head.
Okay.
And so then now, I kind of wrote this down, what he was saying about that. He says, your eyes don't see your head, do they? You look all around and you see everything else but your head. You don't see. So the invisibility of one's head, almost of not having any head at all, is the secret of being alive. To be headless, you might say to have no head. If you want to see the inside of your head, all you have to do is keep your eyes open. Because everything you are experiencing in the external visual field is a state of your brain. All these colors and shapes are the way in which the brain nerves translate the electrical impulses in the external world, seeing the world outside the envelope of skin. So they translate all what is going on outside into impulses, which are to us shape and color. But shapes and colors are states of the nerves. So what you see when your eyes are open is how it feels inside your head. You think your head is a blank, but actually it's being a blank. You don't see your brain as the external undulating corrugated structure. You see your brain as everything outside. So this is your brain. Your five senses, what you're perceiving is your brain.
Yep. That's it.
This is it.
The brain interpretation.
This is the world we are generating with our minds. It's completely our minds. We can't see our minds because this is our minds. We're seeing our mind so clear. Total awareness of our mind.
Yeah, right here.
Five
this
senses.
Is it.
This is our mind. This is what we're generating. There's nothing else out there other than the mind that we're projecting. So then there was this other little quote by David, what's his name?
Suzuki.
No, the conspiracy guy.
Wilcox.
No.
David Icke.
We don't need the name. It's all good.
David Icke, yeah.
So he says the eyes only transform the tiny frequency range known as visible light into electrical signals that are decoded by the brain DNA network into a holographic 3D reality. The physical world we think is around us only exists in our head. And so there's this illustration that comes with us. This is the physical world right here. So you can pass it around and see.
We got a visual.
Yeah, you can take a picture of it. So that's how it's all, everything you see around you is generated by your mind. It's all within your head, nowhere else. And so that's why you're responsible for it.
That's why you're responsible for it, exactly.
You are responsible. There's that, and that's the guilt. You're trying to run away from your responsibility. Blame and shame and guilt, someone or something out there that's doing it to you, and you're not owning up to your responsibility. That you're the one that's doing it.
Yes, the ego will make you very afraid to look at that. You know, because the ego knows that it's a projection of your brain. The ego knows this. But the ego will make you very afraid of looking at that and use guilt. No, that's not me. They're doing that over there. I didn't choose this pandemic.
Always trying to prove something or blame. Yeah, prove something, and it ends up in blame.
Yep. Just taking responsibility, like, I made it up.
So instead of reversing it, you're saying just love it.
Yeah.
Just play with it.
Yeah, because the reversing that's not your doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's not because from the place of being conditioned and finding yourself in an upset feeling, you're already following the ego's advice. You can't get yourself out of there without using the ego. So you ask for help from beyond that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you ask for help, it's going to be given to you. You ask for, you know, you said it today about the only prayer is what?
Is to ask to see this differently.
To see this differently. That's it. That's it. So instead of trying to do it on your own, you know, asking to see it differently, so you're not just using the ego to make another illusion. Okay, here's this visual of the world manifesting out of a brain. It's pretty good. All right. It makes it kind of fun and playful too that it is manifesting out of the brain, because then you can relax. You can have a deep breath in any time. And you know, you're able to, the way you'll be made manifest is you'll be able to apparently choose things that feel good to you, because you're not projecting that you're deserving punishment all the time. What if you find yourself doing something that doesn't feel good to you? What if you find yourself doing something that seems really guilty to you? I wish I wasn't doing this thing that I'm doing, whatever it is. I wish I didn't have to do this kind of thing. Whether it's like feeling depressed or, I don't know, couch potato, drinking a bunch of alcohol. I don't know. Could be anything. It doesn't matter. Whatever it is that you seem to be doing, love it up. You know? How can I see this differently goes into how can I see myself differently? That perception that you have of yourself doing whatever you think you're doing, that is not true. It's like a distraction. It's like something that's put up. Oh, look at how you are now. Don't you have a judgment about that? You shouldn't have eaten that brownie or something.
Especially because it was a pot brownie.
Especially because it was a pot brownie. Yeah. Anything that analyzes yourself or another person, it's really the same thing. Anything that analyzes yourself is not relevant. That means you could just have a deep breath right there. When the thought arises to analyze you. And you know, there's like, I don't know, maybe like tens of thousands, 100,000, I don't know, thoughts that cross your mind every day like this. And each time you see one, you let yourself get a deep breath in that moment, it becomes less sticky. It has less meaning for you. You're teaching consciousness right now that you're not moved by that. Wouldn't you love that, to just not be moved by any of the thoughts that occur to you? They start to try to talk. They're like, oh, no thanks. There's no need for that. And then you're available in the moment to give all of your attention to whatever it is that's arising.
Without feeling guilty.
without you won't be feeling guilty. Yeah, if you're feeling guilty, you're not giving your attention to the now. You can't be feeling guilty without thinking about the past. So you cannot be present to the now moment and also feeling guilty. Isn't that fun? So then when the feeling of guilt arises, it's like, oh yes. How exciting. It doesn't matter what it's about. It could be anything. I've had the funniest things come up for me. You know, like, oh, why did I say that? And I'm like, oh, I know what that is. I didn't say anything. Do you see the temptation there? Not very many people will go, oh, wait a minute, I didn't say anything. They'll analyze their self. And they'll think about how they're going to do it better. And they'll feel frustrated because they keep on talking out of their ass. But that's not actually the reason they're feeling frustrated. That's really not. Any upset feeling is a total extrapolation of the very first upset thought that you separated yourself. The first thought that you separated yourself from reality, that's what you're really upset about. You're not upset that you talk out your ass. The idea that you talk out your ass is being projected to you because you want to be upset about something else. It's too painful to be upset because you separated yourself from reality. That's, you know how guilty that feels? To think that you actually separated yourself from reality, which you didn't. Just remind you right there that you actually didn't. So there's nothing to even forgive there.
Well, it's the idea that you've separated yourself and now you have to do it. I have to do stuff.
Yeah.
So then I did it wrong. I'm guilty. I got to do it better next time. You're always thinking about how you're the doer.
That's it.
And so, yeah, then, what was I going to say? Anyway, go on.
Thanks.
How's it work?
Yeah, that all ties you into being the doer, and the doer is the guilty one. No matter what the doer does, that fucker's guilty. That's just the way it goes. That's the way the ego looks at it. No matter what, it's guilty. You know, and that's what most of our relationships are until the relationship turns into something else by a choice that we make. Most of the relationships on the planet, you could say, even though there's no planet, all the relationships have to do with what can I get from you? What guilt can I bury in you? That's why you see these relationships where people are close to each other, they get sour, and there's all this kind of upset feeling about how they are, how that person is, how that person behaves toward you, let's say. And when you see that's just you looking for a place to bury your guilt. It's not like the person gets a pardon for doing something wrong. They get a pardon because they didn't do anything, because you made them like that. You actually made them like that. Because you were looking for someone to carry that guilt for you. And so that's how these relationships go. A lot of times they just go until they're really painful and then they break up, or else they'll stay together for a really long time. Maybe it'll change to a different illusion, but always that animosity stays there until there is a choice to use the relationship for something different than what the ego would have you use a relationship for. See, a relationship could be used for healing. And, you know, it has to be for all of your relationships across the board, though, because there's only one relationship. And, you know, in that one relationship, if you're willing to be the protector of everyone's innocence, which is really your own innocence, that's how you turn it around. You know, being the protector of everyone's innocence is basically just a thought occurred to you, like maybe it seems like someone slighted you, or they've ignored you, let's say, or they've rejected you or anything like that. You know, protecting their innocence is just the willingness to see that you're making them out that way. They're not doing anything on their own. So in your mind, they stay innocent, which leaves you innocent. And when you're innocent, you're happy. When you consider yourself guilty, that's all that makes you unhappy. You know, and that includes any kind of illness. That includes even, you know, from a headache, you got a muscle that's tight because you worked out. Same thing. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. How's your neck? Oh yeah, my neck's sore. Oh, what did you do to it? It's like, that is not, no. It's not relevant. That's making up a story. Your neck is not sore because of anything that happened before. Nothing happened before, actually. Nothing happened.
Yeah.
So it's not like you shouldn't have a sore neck or something. That's not what I'm saying. It's not like you shouldn't, like if you get a sore neck, it's like, oh shit, I screwed up. I'm going to just like pretend I don't have a sore neck to everyone. Just like act like I don't. It's not like you messed up. It's just an opportunity to see that this is caused by guilty consciousness and nothing else. When you're willing to see that it is caused by guilty consciousness, you know what? That's where you open yourself up to another interpretation. That's where you open yourself up to the healing. But if you blame your sore neck on, let's say, sleeping wrong, or I don't know, maybe someone punched me in the neck. Who knows? Someone, you know, a dog bit me there. It doesn't matter. It's just making that illusion true. That's how you would make the illusion true. And you know, it's okay to tell the story. Yeah, just don't believe it. Maybe you're going for some medical help. Maybe you're bleeding from the neck and you're like going for some medical help. It's okay. Just don't believe it. That something in the world caused it. That's believing in illusions. You know, we talked about it before. Why can't anything in the world cause anything to another thing in the world? Because all the things are projected from the mind. So that would be like kind of the equivalent of you're in a movie theater and there's a body here and let's say there's a gun over here, and it's like the body gets shot by the gun on the screen and you're like holding the gun responsible, or the person shooting the gun responsible, or whatever. But it's not seeing that the whole picture is coming from back there. The whole picture is coming from behind all the seats and everything. It's not the gun or the person with the gun doing anything to this person. That's the same way. That's how it goes with viruses or anything else. It's not anything on the screen actually attacking another thing on the screen. That's coming from where the film is. That's coming from behind the scenes. All of the activity, whatever it is that seems like it added up to something.
So that's literally a projection. Literally, projector. But
Very literally,
so
yes.
what's the projector of the so-called virus then? What's the real projection? Yeah, what's the real projection there?
Well, look. It's pretty simple, and it's really
just another extrapolation of the basic. Something can invade and threaten you. It's just another variation of that. Something can invade and threaten you. Today it's a virus. Tomorrow it's the Taliban or something.
Yes, I think the course says any sickness is from wrong thinking. So this is basically just wrong thinking.
Sure.
There
Yeah, it is wrong thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not to be projected as if they're wrong thinking over there. Right? It's all giving you an opportunity.
Right.
If you're having a perception of a world at all, that's a perception based on wrong thinking. Okay? We don't, perfect love, and the creation, which is a creation made of the thought based on love, does not have death or aging or injury or conflict or anything like that. It doesn't include those things. We made those things up because we wanted to play like we're God. Oh, you think I can't? Oh, God. You think I can't make my own world, huh? Watch this.
Made it based on guilt and punishment.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's this hope that goes on, that we're going to make it to where we live forever. There's people working on that, right? There's this hope that we're going to make it to where we live forever and no one gets sick and there's no crime. Look, we build jails to try to accomplish that. So there's this ego drive to keep on going to try to make it just like heaven. And it's been going on and on and on and on. And it hasn't gotten to that point yet. And you know, it's like a lot of us are going, what the heck? What are we doing? Why do we keep on trying to make this heaven when heaven's already created?
Mm-hmm. It's a state of mind. Yeah.
Just drop hell.
Yeah, exactly. It's in your willingness to drop hell.
But that's the separation. The separation is hell. You're separated from God. You're separated from your perception. You think it's out there and you're over here. The screen is there, but you're not aware that the projector is behind you. That's what they say, that the electrical impulses are in the back of your head that then project outward, just like how in the movie theater, the projector is in the back of the theater.
Yeah. It's a good symbol. The movie theater make a really good symbol for that.
So this is your theater, and it's like a planetarium, actually, where the whole circumference of outer space and the sky is like the dome. They talk about, oh, it's a flat earth with the dome. Well, the dome is your skull.
The dome is your skull. Very good. Yeah. Well, notice in your perception, basically, you always have one specific size dome range that you could see. You know, that's the look up. And there's the sky that you can see. It's so much like virtual reality, the headset thing that you put on, because it's like all that's in your perception is like what's like right in your perception. And then we make up that the world is round, but no one really knows. Because all you can see is what's in your perception. We don't know these things. We don't know anything. It's just all like me making interpretations. It didn't, and you know what? It's not any shape. That's the thing. It's just a bunch of madness, jumbled.
Chaos.
So it's a 3D hologram. Just projected from light, like the movie is projected from the light in the projector.
And how you feel is very personal. That's what's great. It's like no one can tell you how you feel. You have to be the one on that. You know? So if you're feeling reactive to anything, that's the moment. And look, you're feeling reactive all day long. That's just the way it goes. Because things just pop up. And it automatically triggers something. And a lot of the times those go unnoticed. When you feel any kind of off center, off balance, you can ask for help. Instead of agreeing with the reason why you think you're feeling off balance. We can give dominion back. We can give dominion back to the mind. You can say you give dominion back to peace. You know, we've given dominion to the ego. And now it seems like the ego's running the world. But that's what we want. That's a choice we make.
Planet of the ego.
And there's only one, too. You know, the ego doesn't exist at all, let's say. So you can say that there's not even one. But it's not like people have their separate egos. It's not like people have their separate egos like that.
Well, any notion of separation is the illusion.
Yes. Yes. Even in the manifest world, there's only one ego, and the ego is kind of like an energy of separation. Let's say an energy of separation, which is like an energy of fear. And the thoughts that occur to you that come from the ego seem to be very personalized, just because that's how you're interpreting that energy. It's more of a feeling. And then you interpret it to go along with your life. So you get these feelings, and you have a habit of making these feelings meaningful. So it's the same ones over and over again. Let's say you have a habit of regretting things, of doing things that you regret. Okay? So the more you buy into that this regret is true, here it comes again, a big, oh my gosh, what did I do? Oh, I feel so bad. I freaking screwed up again. That's where the opportunity comes in to see that you didn't really do anything. You didn't really do anything. It's this sense of I screwed up again. It's kind of addictive for you. It's kind of an addictive feeling to be like, I screwed up again. Oh God. It's like, it just for like a fraction of a second, if just for a fraction of a second, you would be willing to just look through that in the moment where it's all loud and fast. You notice how when it seems like the sense of like I regret, for instance, comes up. You notice how it starts going really loud and fast. So the unwillingness to see through that is just fear that going loud and fast thing is helpful to you. Like it's actually helpful. When all it's doing is making that whole thing come back around. Making you have you like a puppet on a string go over and, I don't know, smash someone's car on accident. On a parent accident. And then, I regret that. Now the consequences. I'm not going to be able to drive the car. It's going to be terrible and all the other stuff like that. And notice how it replays over and over again. That could just be stopped in an instant. Oh, I feel regret right now. Welcome. I know how to use this. Oh, I know what this is. I know how to use this. Woohoo. I could feel the feeling of regret, like really hot and pressurized inside my body's energy field. It's going to be great. It's going to be like a roller coaster ride. I'm going to feel really regretful. Yeah. And then it's almost like it peels off of you. It's almost like it just comes right off. Because there's nothing resisting it. It needs resistance. There's nothing resisting it. It just comes right off. And that's a gift to the whole world. That's a gift to everyone. Because everyone could use that sense of relaxation. And it's like you've gone a little bit before a lot of people. When you're allowing that. You've gone a little bit ahead of a lot of people. And giving them that open door for whenever they're ready. And you don't have to be around to try to figure that out. Because their guide, which is the same guide as you have, will give it to them exactly when they need it at the right time. There's nothing you have to do about it. Just let the gift be given, but then forget about it. It's just like giving a gift anywhere to people in your perception, your kids, your spouse, your friends, anything like that, and then trying to follow the gift to see what they do with it. It's like when a gift is given, just give it up. Let it be that. It'll be perfect. But if you try to follow it around and try to make sure that people are using your gift, where's the manifestations of me letting that guilt go? Then it's like you're interfering with their experience, their expansion, which you can't really do that, but in your perception, it'll show up in your perception like that's something to be guilty about. It'll come back to you like that, even though you can't really do anything to harm them. You can't do anything to hinder them.
Well, don't we stick to the guilt and regret because it's the known and familiar? It's what we're used to. There's kind of a sense of security.
Security.
This is how it's always been. So when I attract another abusive partner, then even though I hate it, there's a sense of security and comfort, and it's the known that I'm used to, and so I just stick with that because I'm too insecure to give up what I'm familiar with, even though it's causing me suffering.
Well, it's the unworthiness that's familiar, not necessarily the relationship itself, because the unworthiness is what's manifesting as relationships where, say, you're in an abusive situation. That's just a sense of unworthiness where you would attract another abusive person again and again.
So I'm not worthy of love. I'm only good enough to get beat up.
Yep, exactly. And that's kept so convoluted and so hidden by the ego that most people don't see that that's what's going on. It's not until they get to a certain point, meaning basically they've had enough suffering. All right. Maybe you got your ass kicked, I don't know, 5, 10 lifetimes in a row by your spouse. And then you're like, okay, there's got to be once it's like, okay, there's got to be a better way. Once you're open to that, then that's where things start changing. But there's been a lot of thinking people knows. Some people just chalk it up to all men are pigs. All men are abusers, all men are cheaters. I've heard them all. They just decide that based on what I see. All men need tons of blowjobs. Whatever. People just make it up as they go along. and then make it apparently true in the perception. But were you to look at this sense of I'm not enough, I'm not good enough, and how you want to bury the guilt, then your partners start to change. Then your relationships start to seem to smooth out. And it's amazing because even the apparent action that comes through your body's energy field is just like, I don't need that. That's like how the expression gets to be. Oh, thank you for showing me that you like to beat people's asses. I'm not really into that. I'm sure you'll find someone who likes that. Because there's always someone for everyone.
But see, you can never be good enough because that's the ego. That's yourself thinking you're a doer. You can never do good enough.
You can never do good
you're
enough.
If you're the doer, then you're always going to be guilty. You're always going to want to do it better. Mm-hmm. And that's just part of the trap of being a doer.
Identifying as the doer, exactly. And you know what? When you're not identified as the doer, whatever seems to be done through you, you can love it. You could have appreciation for it. Whatever it is that seems to be done through you. You don't have to have a judgment about however you're expressing. Just let it be all natural. It's not like there's some things that you should do to be more enlightened, let's say, more free, more happy. There's no thing that's going to give that to you. There's no refraining from the thing that's going to give that to you. And I'm saying, I don't care if you're over find yourself in the corner shooting up heroin, okay? Let's say that's the scenario. You're in the corner, you're shooting up heroin. You get the impression that something's wrong. Okay? Even if you're on heroin, you are still the decision-making function of the mind. That's yours. That's yours. So you decide whether analyzing this doing of cocaine, heroin, whatever, doesn't matter. In the corner. I don't know why it's the corner. Yeah. You decide whether that's meaningful to even analyze that. You decide whether that's meaningful. The activity, it takes care of itself. Who cares what it's doing?
Well, it's just self-preoccupation, self-importance.
Yes.
You gotta analyze, think about yourself.
Yes.
And that's the whole...
Self-improvement, same thing.
Right, yeah, I've got to work on myself.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Self-improvement and, trying to get a better career. That's like pretty obviously shallow. Another one, trying to get a fit body, a healthy body, not so obviously shallow. It's the same. It's as if to the ego that you're responsible for the health of your body. How are you going to do a good job at that? How? No matter what kind of healthy diet you adopt, that thing is going toward death. That's the only thing it's doing. It's just going towards death. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do to make your body any healthier or live any longer because it's a pre-written, it's like a script. So when you buy into that, when you buy in that there's something you can do to have a healthier body, you discount what's the mind's power. If the body seems to be unhealthy, that's an error in thought. It's not because you ate pizza for months in a row. If another person's body, in your perception, appears to be unhealthy, that's an error in your thinking. Another person's body, that's an error in your thinking. Watch how the judgment starts going. Oh, I bet they ate a lot of burritos. Their ass is huge. You know? I'm speaking from experience on that one. Hey, it's funny what the ego says. It is. It's hilarious. So watch the judgments. I mean, that's what's so fun. That's what's so fun for me. Like I'll be around people, and all of a sudden some fucking judgment will just come out like, "Oh, what a jackass" or something like that. And it's like, "Oh, I'm glad I'm glad that's not me. I'm glad that's not my voice." That's the thing. You think it's your voice. It's not. It's like a comedy show. It's making it's making your beloved into something that they're not.
I'm so curious, and I keep bumping into this about the not doing. And I'm really trying to form the question. Because I want to say, yeah, of course, how I eat is going to affect how I feel and how I perceive and how my body responds. Of course it is.
Yeah.
And the only way I can kind of contextualize what you're saying is, okay, yes, don't take it seriously, do it, but I don't know, it kind of let it spin independently without assuming necessarily that I'm doing the doing, but do the do.
Well, you can't you can't help it. You actually can't help it. So it's kind of like that question comes from, well, does that mean I could just like sit around all the time and not do anything and I'll just be fine? You don't have a choice in that. That's the thing. You really don't. Like you can say, okay, now that I heard Hope say that, I'm just going to sit on this cushion and I'm not going to move. It's like, go ahead, see if that works. You can't help it. Like your conditioning is just going to play out your regular healthy eating and then your perception of unhealthy eating, because of your conditioning, but it's not really having any effect. You're getting a perception that it has an effect. You're getting a perception that when I eat healthier, I feel better. It's a trick. It's a total trick. It's okay. You can, you respect the illusions that you've made. You've made these tricks seem like they're real. So it's not like you try to get all defiant and go, oh gosh, I've been eating healthy all this time. I just want to eat a lot of burritos, let's say. I'm just going to be that's going to be my diet now. And then you start feeling like shit a little bit. And then the ego jumps up and says, see, food does have an effect on your body. But it's not that cut and dry like that as far as the perception goes, because you've already given power to the illusion. So you're seeing manifestation like that. Just in the moment where it comes up, like you say you have a upset digestion, and your mind goes searching for what it is that you ate to be the culprit of that. Just a little bit of willingness to see through that. And each time it arises, and if you're looking for it, you'll see that it arises a lot. It's funny. And every time you believe in it, every time you believe in, oh, I got this little, it must be because I ate chips, for instance, whatever you think is unhealthy, it must be because of that. Then it brings about even more manifestations like that, where you'll see other people screwing up on their diet. You'll see yourself screwing up on your diet. The other side of it is, oh, I'm so proud that my body feels so healthy and I feel so good because I've been eating so healthy and I've been taking care of it. The thing about that, though, that pride is always a setup for a fall. It's always a setup for a fall at some point in the lifetime, maybe sooner, maybe later. That body is going to die.
Yeah, the insanity of health.
Yeah.
Like her Eddie said, a healthy lung and everything when it all leads to the grave. But the idea that there's anything unhealthy is the problem. Health is the natural state of the universe. Wholeness, completeness, vitality, that's just life. Who introduced sickness? Who introduced bad food or whatever? This idea that you're the victim of something that's going to harm you. That's the problem. Not that you're going to do something harmful. The idea that you even invented the idea of anything harming you.
Yep.
I guess I just want to ask, isn't there a degree of capacity? Isn't there, I mean, I'm not, yes, I'm enlightened, yet I'm learning. And I don't know, I guess in a way, I guess I'm wondering, there are some illusions I really don't want to mess with yet.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And that I really want to take it step by step.
Yeah.
I don't want to just, okay, everything is everything. I can just kill myself and I'm going to live forever. No, I imagine that there's different size illusions, and as we're growing, honor some and learn to dismantle others.
Okay. So you can still have the honoring of the illusion, because you did give it that power. You did give it the power that it has. And at the same time, just a willingness to undo it. You don't have to change anything. You don't have to. When you think you do, then you get into like a rebellious kind of mind. It's like, oh, I'm going to prove. You're not going to prove anything by doing. Okay, the proof doesn't come from the illusion. So if you hear me say food doesn't affect you, then you go out and I don't know what you eat, but then you feel sick, that's just because you got rebellious. So the rebelliousness is showing itself. You don't have to do anything different, and you're not capable of it. It really comes down to that too. You're not even capable of doing anything. But thinking that you have to do something different to prove something, that's always going to backfire on you. This is totally in the mind. It's totally in. Just watch how you feel prideful when your body is when you're feeding your body right, let's say. When your idea of feeding your body right, I feel good, I feel strong because I've been feeding my body right. So what I'm saying is to give that thought a second look. Like, is that really true? Is that really true? It's kind of like ask the question. You could be really nonchalant about it at first, just like, is that really true? That I feel this way because of that. Can that really be true since there's no past? See, because there's just re-believing over and over again as if making the past as if it has an effect on the present. See, and it's re-believing that over and over again. It's a totally mental thing. So that's why it gets kind of confusing for the ego, because it's like, wait a minute. I know these things work for me and I want to keep doing them. Well, let the ego know it's okay. You can keep doing them. You can keep on eating healthy. It's all good. it has to do with how you're looking at it each time. See, after some point in time, you won't realize that you don't even need food at all, and it doesn't really matter what you eat. It doesn't really make any difference. But until you realize that there are a lot of thoughts coming in, and if you're fitness minded, if you're health minded or anything like that, you may be having like 100,000 thoughts like that every day that are just making your body real and susceptible to things in the illusion, making the past as if it's true, and totally making yourself into an object. See? It's just a play that goes on all day long, and all these thoughts are offered to you, one after the other, really fast. So all it is this willingness to look at those thoughts and see if that's really true. And would you keep that? Would you like to keep that thought? Would you like to keep that idea about yourself? Yes, that's what gives me some grounding in this world. If I know what to eat, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Just let it play out like it does. It's like exercise is a similar thing. Exercise is a similar thing. People ask me, because I find myself working out a lot. I just love it. It feels good. And it's like people ask me, well, how are you so disciplined and stuff like that? And I'm like, I'm not disciplined at all. I don't have any discipline about it. I have no discipline about it. So the same thing, like a friend asked me, you had to read A Course in Miracles like 10 times? No, I didn't have to. Freaking like it. It's awesome. Same thing with working out. I freaking like it. That's all. I'm allowed to do what I like. Yeah. Yeah, right. Right. I'm allowed to do what I like. For most people, what I see, like if they're not working out, let's say, maybe they're sitting around playing video games on their free time and eating Cheetos or something like that. And when they find themselves doing that, they're hating on themselves. I've had periods of time where I have found myself doing that. Mine was ice cream instead of Cheetos, but it was video games, lots of video games, and Cheetos. And I just looked at it, ice cream, I just looked at it from a different point of view. Because the normal, oh, this is so bad, I'm going to get so fat, this is so bad for me, I'm just wasting all my time, was arising, but I was using it for something different. So I'm saying, as I'm pretty much laying on my back, I stayed in my room for a long time and just played video games and eat. Watching the thoughts. And you guys, it doesn't really matter what it is. That's why I'm giving this example. It doesn't really matter what it is. Watch the thoughts that come up to try to make you guilty, because that's what it's all for. That's what it's actually for. So it doesn't matter what it is that you find yourself doing. And that's what, that's how a lot of healing occurred for me when I was just able to lay there, and it was months. I was able to lay there. I even had my video game. I wasn't sitting up playing. I was actually on my back with my phone playing, so I didn't have to move that much. Angry Birds. That's it. Angry Birds. That was, I think I finished that one. No, that's why I give you different examples of like the one about shooting up heroin. Because it doesn't matter. If you know what it's for, you can use every single guilty projection that's arising for healing. Or just a few of them. So you got to start somewhere. Just one. Start with one. You shouldn't be playing video games. When are you going to get off your ass and start doing something productive? And watching how the reflection changes too. I have a husband I've had for a really long time, and for the first probably about 20 some years, it was like I wasn't keeping up. I wasn't productive enough. I wasn't keeping up, and that was when I was actually trying to keep up. I was trying. It just wasn't good enough, I thought. And then, the pressure of that came down to the point where I was like, I'm just like, not even worthy. I should just leave him, and he should get someone who's gonna be taking care of stuff like him and be an equal partner and stuff like that. And then the gaming happened. And then it was like, oh, all right, this is good. So then here he comes, and this look of disdain, this look of just like shock and like, oh my God, I'm alone. She's just like, now she just lays around and plays video games. Probably gonna have a huge ass really soon, eating all that ice cream. And that's my perception anyways. It's all going on in my brain. So so I just get the experience of that. Get the experience of that's how I'm making my husband out to be. I'm making my husband out like he's the one making me feel unworthy. And I was like, wait a minute, he can't really make me feel unworthy. So there I am in bed playing video games. Second day in a row probably. And he comes in and he goes, is that all you got today? And there was just such a soft response. Like, yes, I think this is all I'm going to do today, honey. And then he's like, oh, can I get you anything? See, what I mean is it's all in your brain. So when it's not like there's a person out there, when it's not like there's a person out there, it's like whatever they have to share with you, it's like, oh, thank you. You know, and however it seemed like he was giving me a look and accusing me of being lazy. You know, I got a whole story about it. You know, accusing me of being whatever. It can go on and on. And then just to get the clarity of this is mine. I'm making this. Then it's like, why, yes, this is all I got today. It looks like this is it. And he didn't even know it was coming for the next 4 months. And you know what? Everything was fine. Everything was totally fine. It's like if there's a willingness to look at what it is coming from you, and this is it, you know, like Bob was showing that representation of that brain. It's like that is what you see. That is a representation of what your brain is making up. So any person seeming like they're mad, seeming like they deserve, I don't know, seeming like they deserve something. They deserve some kind of punishment for what they did. You know, since they decided not to call me back, I'm not going to call them back. Let's say. Yeah, it's like, who am I to come to that conclusion? To say what they deserve. Well, they didn't call me back, so there's no choice in that anyways, whether you call them back or not, but then making an idea of why they deserve it like that. Whoa, what's that, a fridge?
It's the pump.
Water.
Oh, how awesome. We'll get used to that. Ooh, I'm just enjoying that vibration. Feels good.
Of course, Leia has a spiritual water pump that feels good.
Call your heart.
Nailed it.
Everyone that you meet is friendly and they love you and they're giving you a gift. It doesn't matter what it looks like. Even if you find yourself saying no thank you, the gift is the awareness. Even if you find yourself saying no thank you to the energy, or like we talked about, there's a rule here that a certain guy can't come because he's a child molester. You know? No. Sexual predator. I just made it worse for him. We won't mention any names. Oh, okay, that's fun. And then you
No other response. Okay, that's fun.
even if you get the idea that a person is like that and you have a particular rule that they can't come around, or you say you can't be around my kids or anything like that, it's in your heart that you know you're making it up. There's no way the person is actually what you made them out to be. The truth is that you're not seeing them perfectly just so that you can have healing for your own mind. Okay? That'll make you, as your mind heals, that'll make you less protective. You'll see that you'll start to don't try to manage the expression. Don't try to manage the way that you manifest. Don't say, well, I know there's no child molesters, so I'm going to take this known child molester and I'm going to babysit my kid. You know? Don't try to manage your expression is what I'm saying. That's the same thing like, I know food doesn't affect me, but I'm going to eat 5 pizzas so I'll eat 5 pizzas for dinner and know that I'll be okay. You know,
It's like trust in the Lord, but tie up your camel.
yes. Well, you don't, and that's the thing. You don't really have a choice in it, but you could just make it so like you have something to prove, and then you'll be made to manifest that way. You don't have to manage your expression at all. All it is taking responsibility for having the perception that this person is a sexual predator or this food is unhealthy. Those are exactly the same thing. They're actually the same thing. You can generalize those things. They're the same. You know, if you're afraid of pizza being allergen or something like that, don't give it to your kid. That's all. You know, don't try to go against it. If you don't know how to swim, don't try to swim in Kahana first time. but when you're looking at what the mind is making of it, that's where you do the work. It's not in the manifestation of it. So the sexual predator guy, he could stay wherever he is, but then whatever thought that you have coming up about him being out there, that's where you have the work to do. And it's easy. It's playful work. It's fun. It's really fun. And it makes you happier all the time. You keep on getting happier because there aren't any child molesters. There aren't any sexual predators. There aren't any pizzas either. So they can just flow. And when you're not being protective like that, when you're not feeling so protective like that, like for me, you know, I love those guys that think they're sexual predators. I think it's awesome. I love to hang out with them. You know, I don't feel like they're going to be babysitting my kids. My kids are kick their ass probably. They're old, you know. But there's like a sense of responsibility there. And so if I know people have come up to me and say, hey Hope, that guy that you've been hanging out with, he's a sexual predator. And I'm like, okay, thanks for letting me know. I'm still hanging out with a person, you know. The relationships that we have with people are different between all different people. Especially if someone tells me, someone whispers in my ears and tells me, oh yeah, this guy's a sexual predator. It's like, oh, okay, great. You know, it's great. If I see any sign of that, then I'll know. If I see any sign. But really what it comes down to is communication. That's what I've seen all the way across. Hanging out with a lot of different people, hanging out in situations with a lot of different guys that people would call shady and stuff like that. Just like really clear communication comes automatically when you're willing to accept there's nothing that can harm you. It doesn't matter what their history is or anything like that. Willing to accept that there's nothing that can harm you. You could feel safe in the moment. So when someone gives you that vibe, let's say, you know, if you might know the vibe. I know many people do. They know the vibe where someone's kind of like putting the move on. Someone's putting the move on. Someone's putting the move on. It's like, oh, no, thank you. I'm not really into that. You know? What seems to go on is someone's putting the move on And then there's, I don't want to believe it. Oh gosh, you go into hiding. And then what the message that the other person gets is, oh, they're into me. And then the next thing you know, you're in a precarious situation. You're completely frozen going, oh my God, this guy's sexual predating me. You know. But it doesn't get to that. It doesn't really get up to that point. It doesn't really get up to that point without this hiding. There's a hiding energy leading up to it. It's not like open heart. Yeah, I found myself in these kind of situations many times. And it's a hiding kind of energy. It's hoping that energy will go away. Instead of facing it straight on and like, no, thank you. Oh, what? You don't like me? I'm not good enough for you or something like that? And it's like, no, I don't, nothing like that. I think you're awesome. I just don't want to bone up with you, you know? It's like really simple. I'm not that kind of broad, or I already got laid, whatever, you know. Yeah, make it fun. Yeah, have fun. It's like, if you're not scared of the sexual predator, you're not going to get predatored on. Preyed on, is that what you say?
That's what I said earlier about meeting the mountain lion.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. If you're not afraid of them, there's nothing that they can even seemingly do to you. They can only seemingly do something if you're in fear of them. Even in fear of what they're going to think. Even in fear of, what if they cry? You know?
Right.
What if they cry when I say no? Oh, I don't want to be mean. You know.
Oh, that guy ended up calling me a bitch the next day.
Oh.
What if they cry and then call me a bitch in front of people? You know?
But you wiped the tears.
Yeah. And you know, it coming all completely out of your energy field, all of it, the crying and the calling you a bitch, that all that's coming right out of your energy field, because you have been in the past using that to make yourself guilty. So now it just keeps on going like that. It's like whatever thoughts that you made true for yourself before, you were using those, you were making them meaningful, you made them mean something and suffer over them. It projects more and more and more like that. So the person's crying, that's your crying. You need compassion right now. You do not have to reach across and give any kind of compassion there. You don't have a choice in it anyways, but you actually need compassion in your body's energy field. That energy that you see of him crying is projected from you. You're crying right now. So it's not like you're not feeling that. You are feeling it. And you tune your attention to how you're feeling that. You feel the crying. And then that automatically helps him whether you see it or not. Whether you see it or not, that's going to help him. And
That's
then
what I'm still holding on to, is getting the actual perception of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
You don't need that. And you're not going to get it as long as you want it like that. That's the thing. So you don't need it and you're not going to get it. You'll get to see some amazing perceptions. First, accept the healing for yourself. Get that sense of relief. That shows you that healing happened. You don't need proof of it in the perception. The proof will come. It will show itself to you. But first, it's getting through that sense that you need the proof right now. Your proof is your sense of peace, your sense of relaxation with it. Oh, thank you for crying. You know, because I've been crying in here and I couldn't see it, and now there it is. Thank you. Thank you for calling me a bitch. I was thinking I was bitchy too. You're right. Yeah. Yeah. You're showing me what I'm thinking. It's perfect.
Yep.
You're showing me what I need. And you know, it's not that the words themselves are particularly true about what you're thinking, but your reaction is reflecting what you think. So if you have a reaction that's like resistant to something like that, okay, you're thinking you're bitchy if you're reacting to someone saying that you're a bitch. You know, if you're going, don't call me that. Oh, you're good, fine. Don't worry about what your don't worry about what your projection is. If you say, "Hey, fuck you, man. You don't call me a bitch." Just watch. Don't manage your perception of yourself. You can't manage your perception of yourself. But when you think you can manage your perception of yourself, you're completely missing the point. Be very happy about all of the lessons that are coming, because all the lessons that are coming are for you to help you to see through this illusion. It's not an indication of how spiritually advanced you are. Whatever's coming, not an indication at all. You know, you could use one thing to show you an indication of how spiritually advanced you are. How much joy is allowed into your day all day long? How much joy is allowed? That's all. It does not matter what the manifestation is. The manifestation could be anything. In the face of joy, it doesn't matter. So hooray, everyone! Yay! We have a song by Leah now. Another beautiful song by Leah. Am I putting you on video?
You can if you want to.
Okay, I will.
Okay.
I'm going to put her on video. Okay, I'm going to flip it. Uh-oh. I don't know how to flip it in the thing. It's already in it. Okay, I won't flip
You
it.
can just move the phone.
Yeah, I will do that. Whoa. I was going to flip it so I could like do photography mode. I could be on the other side.
Yay.
Yay. There it is.
Hi.
Yes.
This song is my most recent song, and it's come, as you'll hear, kind of as a response to what's going on in the world right now. Yeah, anyway, it's called Love Has Won. And here it is. Thanks for listening. I love you.
What a good title. Love it.
Winds of change are blowing. There's a rising tide. Seeds of light we are sowing. Look within, stay inside. The virus of fear spreading, so now we can open up our eyes and see where we are heading. Now's the time to rise. Now's the time to rise. Oh, let's rise up in love. We shall live in peace. Our hearts united can never be divided. Oh, let's let it be. Let's rise up in
Oh, it's beautiful. Thank you, Leia. Yay, everyone. Until next week. Woo!
Yay.
A hooey ho!